Hi folks, welcome back to the Hoard. One of the questions that I'm commonly asked is, my quad won't start, what should I do, what's wrong with it? And one of the first questions I always ask back is it sparking? And frequently I don't get an answer back, or I don't get an answer back that makes sense. Like, yeah, I measured the voltage on the input to the coil, and I got 10 volts, and if I kick it faster, the voltage actually goes down. What does that mean? I get questions like that, and I'm like, answer the first question, is it sparking? And just take a look here. What I did was I hooked up the jump pack directly to the starter, right? You see this is on ground, and this is right to the positive of the starter. So I have it hooked directly up, and I'm just turning the engine over with the jump pack. All the rest of this is I hacked in a portable or a pit bike ignition system. You buy these right over the internet. Very simple. What I do with the harness, I put the harness down. Yeah, you buy the whole harness just like this. You plug the CDI into that. You plug your on and off switch, push button into that, and you just hook up these wires, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. So anyway, my first question to you will always be, is it sparking? And check this out. Hopefully, try to do it such that you're up against a dark spot. You guys can see that, and you guys could see that. So that's always going to be my first question to you, is it sparking? The second thing I would recommend, if you're discovering that it's sparking, is you take some starting fluid. Make sure there's oil in the bike and all that other kind of stuff. Take the starting fluid and give it a little spray in the old air cleaner. And whether it's one of these air cleaners, right, you got to take the top off the box, or one of these China air cleaners, right, you just spray it a little bit and you hit it and see if it puts, kicks, smokes, burps, does something. If the answer is no, it doesn't do anything, you got spark, but it's not doing anything. If it sounds like it's turning over this quickly, you should be suspicious about compression. Your next thing to do is do a compression test in the spark plug hole over here. You screw the gauge in. You can buy the gauges from Harbor Freight. It comes with all the different adapters you put in there. Screw it in. Do a compression test. Make sure, by the way, that you hold the throttle wide open, or put a screwdriver down the throat of the carburetor. Make sure it's wide open, or you take the carburetor off so it's wide open. Because if you have the carburetor closed, or if you have the exhaust plugged up, you'll get strange readings. I've had yet to have an exhaust plugged up, except on a 2-cycle. I had the exhaust plugged one time, but on a 4-stroke, I've not had the exhaust plugged up yet. Though, take a quick look in the hole, make sure you got nothing plugging you up. So, do a compression test. Typically, if they have 75 or more, they'll start. If they have 90 or more, they have enough compression to start. 75 is kind of the dividing point. Once again, with starting fluid, they should start. Let's say you have 90 psi. You have spark, and you're turning it over, and it still won't start. Next thing I'd start wondering about is timing. How do you determine the timing? You take this off. You take this off. You'll see alignment marks in there. Typically it's you turn it and you look through here and you'll see an alignment mark kind of on the fire or top dead center, and then you take a look. You take this cap off and you take a look and you look at those alignment marks. You make sure those are all proper. For me, I never want anybody to underestimate the importance of changing the spark plug. These China bikes come with really crappy spark plugs, so it's not a bad idea before you get too far into any of this, especially if you check the spark and the spark doesn't look great, to change the plug. But even if the spark does look pretty good, I would still change the plug. Testing. What's wrong with my ignition system, especially if you see, you see wires hanging all over the place. You see a whole spaghetti mess, or this one here, right? Wires hanging all over the place. What do? The first thing you do, get your meter, Harbor Freight, free with the coupon. You plug the black into ground. I just slid it underneath here to make it easy. It's attached to the head. That gives me ground. Then what I do is I take this out, right? Take the CDI right out. And now you're looking at the plug, right? CDI unit is out. You're looking at the plug. Then you probe, right? Got one on ground. You put the red probe, and you probe each and every one of these, just like that, right? That's going to the blue wire, or actually that's going to the green wire, and you go right around, and you take a look at the readings. And here are the readings I just got from this one. So, blue and white, which goes to the pulsar. Between the blue and white and ground, you get 128 ohms. Between the green wire, which is wire harness ground, and bike ground, you get 0.8. Blue and yellow, that goes into the spark coil, you get 1.2. Or black and yellow, Black and yellow goes to the spark coil, 1.2. Black and red goes to the stator coil, you get 378 ohms. And black and white is on and off. If you want this thing to run, that should be open. That should be an open circuit. For those of you who lose the key to the ignition, if you just cut these, black and white, right? Cut those. You will no longer be turning the bike off, and it should start. Obviously you'd have to hotwire the starter to get it to turn over or kickstart it, but anyway, you get rid of the black and white and the thing will spark and start. You can buy the harness and the CDI unit and the little on and off switch that plugs into here. It's a little push button. You just push down on it and it turns it off. You can buy that whole setup. They go for about $20, give or take a couple of bucks, depending on where they are. They come out of China. They're really cheap. That's what I have on this bike for an ignition system. That's what I'm showing you the spark with, right? How hard is it to hook up? Let me see. Where do I put the blue and white wire? Oh, I put it with the blue and white wire. Where do I put the red and black wire? Oh, with the red and black wire. Where do I put the green wire? Oh, with the green wire. Where do I put the black and yellow wire? It goes off to the coil, the other side of the coil. Sometimes they pick up ground off the body. Sometimes they pick up ground off the bike. When you're looking at the Chinese wire harness, sometimes they do color changes. Like here, right? Those two colors make sense. but look at the wires that plug into the wire harness, right? Like this wire, red and black, it's much more red now than red and black. We're coming out of the harness, right? It's more black and red. So sometimes they do color changes. The real color change they like to do is the green wire here. Green is ground, but a lot of times if you have 12 volts, it could turn into pure black, right? Sometimes they use pure black for ground, right? And you'll see some pure blacks floating around here. Normally pure black is kind of 12 volt ground. Green is kind of body ground for the ignition, but not always. Some people say, once again, I kick it over or I'm doing voltage measurements. Your problem with doing that, when you turn it slowly, your meter, especially digital meters, but even the analog meters, all meters, they could only capture pulses so quickly. So as you're turning this over faster, your voltage is probably going up. You're probably getting a higher amplitude of AC voltage, but the pulses are getting narrower and narrower and narrower, right? But your meter might not be seeing the pulse. It might be reading less because it's not capturing the full voltage, especially these cheaper meters, right? You might not capture it. So I've troubleshot a lot of these. I mean, I own a lot of these and everything else. I've had no luck doing in situ measurements with the whole bike intact and what's going on. The most luck I've had troubleshooting these is by getting the CDI out of here and making sure all the inputs to the CDI are good, because a happy CDI should throw a spark, right? Should throw a high voltage out to this coil and give you a spark. Let's say you check everything and you're still not getting a spark. Let's go back to the no spark situation. If everything here is all your readings are proper, I would probably change this. I would probably change the CDI. But I got to be honest with you. If you're going to buy a CDI and it's going to cost you about $10, and then it doesn't fix it, so you say, oh shoot, I got to go buy a coil and it's going to cost me $10. And shoot, that didn't fix it. Maybe I got something strange going on with the wire harness. You know what? That's another $10. You might as well buy the combo kit for less than $20 and get the CDI, pit bike, and pit bike harness, and the coil all in one unit. You buy them, you get them all at once, and you're all happy. By the way, this is an unmatched set. This might have come with the bike. This came with one of the pit bike harnesses, and the wire. These two probably go together. The wire harness and that go together, but the CDI does not. So I hope this helps, right? To make an engine run, you need a spark, and you need that at the right time. You can't have it anywhere, so timing's important, right? So you need a spark, you need compression, and you need carburation. I personally like bypassing the ignition system that comes with the bike because it gets a variable out of there. And as a matter of fact, this kit here, this box here, I have the 12 volts built in, I have the CDI built in, and I got the spark coil built in. See the spark plug wire? So all I need is a pulse from the engine, which is this guy, right? This takes the pulse from the pulser. That's ground. And let's say I hook that to the spark plug or to the case or whatever, and I turn on my nice little bat switch, and I know I have spark. So once I know I have spark, I could give it a little hoot of ether, and I better get a kick. I should get some kind of kick. This thing also provides a really hot spark. This is the CDI in this thing is from a GY6. I bought the CDI unit and the coil together. It's kind of a performance set. This has the advanced built right in. So there it is. Guys, if you have questions, remember the first question always is, do you have spark? Obviously, if your engine seized up because you drove it off the end of a dock and you hydroed it, if that's the case, you don't have spark because you can't turn the engine over. You're screwed. But anyway, I really hope this helps. Guys, keep the questions coming. Let me kind of give you guys this whole chart thing again. So guys, keep the questions coming. I really hope this helps. This gets you going. There's no way that I've found that you can really do measurements while kicking the thing. So I personally don't even really recommend trying. I was asked a question about points. I've been screwed with points a few times, and most recently with the Cushman that's not up here. I had my Cushman up here, that used to be up here, used to be sitting right here, as a matter of fact. I had a lot of trouble with that, getting it to run properly, and I thought it was carburation, so I hacked one of the 250 carburetors onto it, a China clone of the 250 carb, and still, it just would not run properly. And it turns out that the capacitor was no good. In my case, the capacitor was opened. So as you would run it, the points would spark and pop and do all kinds of strange things. And then as you tried to get more RPM out of it, the spark would die. I found it by having the cover off and watching the points. But also if you use spark testers, these guys, you can see what the sparks do as the RPMs come up. If you're bringing the RPM up and you see the spark going all the heck or jumping all around, the timing of the spark looks weird. It doesn't look like it's coming up with the beat of the engine, so to speak. The frequency of the spark isn't increasing as the engine should be increasing. And as a matter of fact, as you watch, you kind of watch the spark faulting, and then the engine starts breaking up. You know you don't have a spark, so a spark tester isn't a bad thing. The stuff I recommend for fixing this, you could go to Harbor Freight. Here in the United States, it's Harbor Freight. I don't know if you guys have it in Princess Auto. But anyway, you walk in there, and if you have the coupon, you get a free meter, you get a compression tester, jump pack, or jump it off of something else. And there you are. It doesn't take much to test these things. It's really not that hard. You just got to learn what to do, so to speak. Anyway, folks, I really want to thank you all for watching and commenting and subscribing. Remember to keep your feet down, keep your head up, and please, please get out there and enjoy all your days. Bye now, folks.